go live with our Thaiger Weekend update. As I sort of wind up to get started, when we do this, I sort of have to take a big deep breath thinking I'm going to have to talk pretty much continually for the next hour or so. So, of course, as we do when we do this each week, we just want to make sure you can hear me okay, and then we'll say hello to all the different people who are already online. And thank you very much to some 60 people who have been waiting to connect with us this morning. So please tell me if you can hear me okay, and then of course we'll proceed. And we've got Craig from New Zealand, we've got Paul from Bangkok, we've got Bob who says we're late. Bob, I think I was about like 30 seconds late, give me a break. And we've got Jolly Fox, Blue Moon, saying he's got a cloudy morning. So anyway, assuming you can hear me because nobody's complaining, so we'll march on. Now, there has been plenty of news in the past 24 hours about changes to the Thailand Pass. We foreshadowed it all week and it eventually happened, just getting the framing right here. And indeed, it was quite a change. We'll get into that in just a moment. Thank you very much, Beans and Brews. Appreciate your very kind donation. Not asking for donations, but when they come, they are most appreciated. And of course, they go to our favourite charity, the very good people down at the Bangkok Community Help Foundation. So thank you very much. Beans and Brews says, good morning from Sukhumvit, Soy 4. Tim, in the 80s, did you present the ABC show Behind the News? That used to make us watch that at school. No, that wasn't me. The guy's name was Paul, blah, 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 but it wasn't me. No, not me. But indeed, I do remember. But hope you're having a great day, Beans and Brews, all the way from Sukhumvit, soy number 4. Hello to Harvey from Singapore. And Sash, finally able to watch the show live since being back in BKK. Good morning from Udon Thani. Hello, Joe. Thank you very much for joining us all the way from the wonderful part of Thailand up there in Isan. So I don't know, what do you want for a background? Do you want more of that? Yeah, let's see what they're doing so you can hear when they're making lots of noise behind me. So yeah, let's get stuck into the main news stories today because there's plenty to talk about. Firstly, it is an election today. If you're in Australia, you've got a federal election, and that means that, all Australian voters, it's compulsory to vote in Australia, have to go out and sign up for whoever they're going to vote for. Oh dear, my computer's doing strange things. Anyway, but there's also elections in Bangkok today, the centre of Bangkok, or not sort of the broader Bangkok, but the actual city of Bangkok. And that's some 8 million people. They're all voting today. Hello from California, from Mr. Mike. Down in Pattaya, they've got a mayoral election in Bangkok. It's an election for the governor. Now, Thailand has got 77 provinces, including Bangkok, which isn't necessarily a province, but the big difference is that they elect the governor in Bangkok, whereas the governor in all the other 76 provinces in Thailand are nominated or selected by means which defy description most of the time. And yes, they are just nominated by the central government. And so the situation is that you've got a governor election in Bangkok today. I think there are 24 candidates, or 31 candidates. And yeah, in Pattaya, they've got an election for the mayor. In both locations, they have got an alcohol ban because in Thailand, there's a 24-hour sort of blackout period for drinking alcohol, which seems like it's some throwback to the 1950s. But they decide that people in Thailand can't drink and vote, so that they are required to not drink. But of course, you've had plenty of time to stock up, and I figure most of the Thais will know where they can sneak out and get a quick drink if they want to tonight. Hello from, oh dear, a New Zealand name. Wainuamata. That's my best guess. Ian, I hope I did okay. I used to have a boat called Waikikimukau, which was designed by a New Zealander, so I gave it a ridiculous New Zealand name that didn't actually exist. Good morning, Tim, from North Georgia in the mountains there. Hello, Lambert. Thank you for joining us. And we've also got William. Good morning from Ban Non Kam. Thank you very much for just spelling that out phonetically for me. I should have an alcohol ban yesterday, says Elaine. Well, I'll leave that up to you to sort out. Now, today, I'm actually in Phuket, and this is a cafe called Dean and DeLuca. Now, they don't pay me to come here and talk about them. The reason I come here is because they've got good 5G signal. It's reasonably quiet, and I've got some half-decent lighting. They do very good coffee, and you can hear me. So that's the main thing, isn't it? So that's why I'm here at Dean and DeLuca. Just reframing that just a little bit. Jess says, I'm simping hard for Natty. Good for you. People who do that. Natty's not here. Natty's back in Bangkok. But Jay and I are in Phuket because we're going to the soft opening today of it's a new water park, and it's called Andamanda. So that's on today. So we are going down with our partners to this soft opening of Andamanda. So expect to see lots of photos of a topless Jay and a topless Tim. Don't think anybody's really ready for that, but yeah, we're going to go down to this water park. I don't think I've been to a water park for, I don't know, a long, long time. Then again, you could basically say that Phuket is just one big water park, couldn't you? So that's what we're going to be doing. But about the alcohol ban, it's just like a ridiculous that in 2022 that you've got an alcohol ban. But that's just been the way that they've done things here in Thailand. And so registered voters won't be able to officially drink today from 6 p.m. today until 6 p.m. tomorrow. The voting is in fact tomorrow. I think I might have alluded to the fact that it might have been today. No, the actual voting is tomorrow. So the alcohol ban in Bangkok and Pattaya City from 6 p.m. tonight until 6 p.m. tomorrow. A question very quickly before we go into some other things I want to talk about. Jolly Fox says, are tourists allowed to carry pepper spray in Thailand? That's a very good question. I've got no idea. I don't have an answer for you. If you're not caught, yeah. If you are caught, I don't know if it's an offence or not. I don't actually have an answer for you. But thank you for an original question. I haven't had that question ever posed, so I don't have an answer for you. I'm very sorry, Jolly. If anybody else has something to say about that in our forum, then we'll make sure we pass that on. But Jolly, sorry I can't answer that. We'll do our best to get an answer for you. Greetings from Virginia Beach in the USA. Hello, Michael. And what time would it be over there? Would be in the evening on Friday, I'm assuming. So thank you very much for joining us all the way from Virginia Beach. The emergency decree extended. Yeah, I'm going to get to all the changes that were announced yesterday. I'm just going through some of the other news that's happening here in Thailand. In the past 24 hours, the Thailand Pass does remain. I'll get into the details of that soon. We've got the alcohol ban tomorrow, or from 6 p.m. tonight, in Pattaya City and in Bangkok. Man in the northeast Thailand has stabbed his wife on a train. Story about that one. Malaysians continue to flood into Thailand. Seems to be an influx of Malaysians coming across the borders since a lot of the restrictions were lifted. We had a story during the week about black water flowing into the beach at Kamala into Phuket. Revolting video, often, this comes up once a year, but the chief in Phuket says the black water is not from businesses. Of course he'd say that, so we'll try and bring you the latest on that. Whilst I'm here in Phuket this week, I might actually go and cover that story in person. And an interesting article on thetiger.com, how do Thais name their kids? Now, if you've come to Thailand, you may notice that all Thais have got their Thai name, and then they've got a sort of a nickname. So it might be Suturat CJ Panutat, or something like that. Or they could be Pop or Nong, or it's usually a short one-syllable name. So how do they get those names and nicknames? Well, there's a story at thetiger.com. So that's some of the stories around. I'll just address who's there at the moment. The sound is good, says John. Thank you very much. We do our best. Stephen Ryan, likely flooding in southeast Queensland today, making voting in some communities difficult. Yes, Australia is voting today for a new federal government. I think I just read yesterday, I was speaking to Tim Shaw actually earlier this morning, and he was saying that the polls are suggesting that there could be a change of government in Australia. So I think the pollsters have the Labor Party to win, but they've often been wrong in Australia before. Paul Henry, yes, Paul Garza, go to Victory Monument. Again, as usual, there's a whole discussion going on in the section, the comment section, which I always miss. What do you think of the government letting COVID positive students sit in the classroom if they're asymptomatic? What do I think about it? We're in this sort of semi-post-COVID period, and different countries are going to approach this in different ways. I'm very, very glad that the schools are back. They are taking a lot of precautions at the schools. We reported during the week that they're doing temperature checks. Children have to wear masks at school. In some classes, they're putting up divisions between each desk. We might call that an overkill, but it seems to me that they're doing a lot at the Thai schools to try and make sure there's as little COVID transmission as possible. So if they're allowing COVID positive students to sit in classes, at least I'd say that most of the other students will be protected. So let's see what happens with that. A gloomy day in Airlie Beach. Hi AJF, one of my very favourite parts in the world. And if I have to come back to Australia sometime in the future I've sort of got to get my Medicare and my driver's license back because I'm completely disconnected from Australia, and I just might be heading back there at some stage. I might have to stay for a few months and get a few ducks in a row for the future. But if I come back, I think I'll go to Airlie Beach because it is, even though I come from Melbourne, I could never, ever, 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 ever do another Melbourne winter. So I might go to Airlie Beach. Hi from Adelaide South from Gabrielle. We'll see you in Bangkok on August the 20th. I'll be watching from Bangkok then for 5 weeks. Look forward to you getting here, Gabriella. Good morning, Tim. Hello from Hua Hin. And Shane O Traveller, Melbourne is here and barely kicking. Is that you? Or the city of Melbourne? Okay, so let's go to the Thailand Pass. These are the things that happened in the past. So I'm not reading your comments for the next 10 minutes or so as I address the Thailand Pass. So if you've got an important question, don't send it to me in the next few minutes. So the Thailand Pass is now stuck for at least the next month. So throughout June, all foreigners are still going to have to apply for and receive a Thailand Pass before they get to Thailand. There was talk of it being abandoned, but that hasn't happened. And there's a few things that are happening in the background, which I'll mention in just a moment, which may see the Thailand Pass continue past June. Now, in yesterday's announcements, they made a few changes. Firstly, they're dropping the Thailand Pass for Thais, because apparently Thais won't bring back COVID, only foreigners. So that's an interesting change, but they are obviously making a concession to local Thai people. So we'll just have to see how that pans out. But from the end of this month, Thai residents, Thai people with Thai citizenship won't have to get a Thailand Pass coming back to Thailand. But foreigners will for at least the month. Now, the only change for foreigners coming to Thailand is for unvaccinated or under-vaccinated travellers. They don't have to do a PCR test before they come to Thailand. They can just arrive in Thailand, and if they don't have vaccination papers, they'll be required to do, under supervision, an ATK test at the airport. If that is negative, they'll be able to go on their way, and they'll be treated just like a vaccinated traveller in Thailand. If, however, they test positive, in other words, they have got COVID-19 detected, then they will be required to go to a hospital. and that the fees for that hospital treatment will be covered by your COVID-19 insurance, which all foreigners are still required to get. And that has to be valued at $10,000. That also hasn't changed since the start of May. So if you are unvaccinated, you still have a risk, even though you only have to do an ATK test at the airport. But if you are positive, you'll have to go to a hospital and stay there, well, until you can probably present a negative ATK test. That could take, 3 days, 5 days, 10 days, who knows? So for unvaccinated travellers, there's still a risk. Otherwise, there's been no other changes to the Thailand Pass, except for the fact that they've lifted it for people, citizens of Thailand. The other interesting thing that happened was that they've increased the time of the emergency decree. The emergency decree gives the double CSA, the Centre for something. I've called them the double CSA for so long I've forgotten what it stands for. But they're an appointed committee of people that they don't have to pass any of their changes or guidelines or restrictions through the Thai Parliament. So they can move very quickly and make instant decisions to add restrictions or reduce restrictions. And that's what they've been doing since April in 2020. And they keep on extending the emergency decree for another 2 months. And they've just done that, so the emergency decree now will stay until at least the end of July. So just reading through the tea leaves, my tip is that they'll probably extend the Thailand Pass until at least the end of July. Now, that's just my tip. I've got nothing else to say on that except that that's just the way that I read the tea leaves. And Kun Anaton, the Public Health Minister over the past 24 hours, Centre of COVID-19 Situation Administration. Thank you, Dave. Kun Anaton in the past 24 hours has said that he sees the emergency decree going until at least the end of June. But my tip is I think they're going to continue it for foreigners until the end of July. So this emergency decree still looms large in the life of Thai people, and it still gives the double CSA the ability to decide exactly what's going to happen on a day-to-day basis with the reduction of restrictions and any changes to the Thailand Pass. And the TAT and the Tourism Minister and people owning hotels can huff and puff as much as they like, and they can make recommendations and proposals, but it's the double CSA that are making the legislation regarding COVID. So you've got that double CSA decision to keep the emergency decree in place until the end of July in Thailand. So that's the latest news on that. Now, there's also news during the week, and I'll get to your questions in just a moment. There's another situation where during the week they've announced again, this is the TAT doing what the TAT do best. Greetings from the Dewa Hotel at Nyang. Hello, Mark R. Dewa Hotel, basically sponsors of Good Morning Thailand. Thank you very much. Dewa Hotel Resort, I think it's called. I haven't got the notes here in front of me, but a very fine place to stay. If you are coming to Thailand, you want a really nice beach, situation close to the airport. You're up on the north of the island. Perhaps a bit, you're a fair away from the hullabaloo, but it's certainly only half an hour away if you want to go and have some fun. But you're at a great beach, and of course under the great hospitality of the Dewa Beach Resort. Okay, so a quick question before I have a talk about this latest rubbish from the TAT. KJ says, Tim, what's the likelihood of the double CSA dropping the insurance requirements? KJ, at the moment, whilst they've got unvaccinated travellers coming in, I believe they're going to keep the insurance requirement. They sort of, the way they see it, they can't have it both ways. If they're going to let people who have a greater possibility of being symptomatic and getting symptoms, perhaps needing hospital treatment, I believe they're going to keep the COVID insurance in place. It's been reduced down from 50 to 20 now to $10,000. So that's the situation. I think they're going to keep, whilst they've got the Thailand Pass, I believe they will probably keep the insurance. Now, a lot of people saying, look, the Thailand Pass isn't a problem, it's a breeze, anybody can do it. And they have said in the past 24 hours that they're going to try and make the Thailand Pass more streamlined, that they're going to provide a much quicker approval. That's yet to be seen. They also said that they're going to reduce the number of staff and they're going to have a new artificial intelligence, AI, doing a lot of the approvals. And when I read that, I thought, well, what could possibly go wrong with that? We know that in the past, these software that they have for, say, doing your 90-day reporting, Thailand Pass, the operation or the implementation hasn't necessarily been 100% smooth. So this switch to artificial intelligence could be interesting. And we'll watch what happens with that over the next couple of weeks. So all these changes to the Thailand Pass, basically for Thai citizens and for unvaccinated people, will come into operation from the start of June. The other thing I suppose we can say is that, yes, it could probably be hacked, says text symbol, and you're probably right. The other thing that's happened, they announced that they're going to reopen bars and karaoke and entertainment spots. You know, the ones that have been open for the last 2 or 3 months already. Well, at least they're going to officially allow them to open until midnight. But of course, as soon as they made that announcement, the entertainment industry in Thailand has said, well, midnight just not good enough. We want to stay open until 2 or 4 a.m. Well, a lot of them do already, but of course they're trying to make it all official again. So we just want to see how all this is going to pan out, but at least officially, Thailand's bars will be open in blue zones and yellow zones, and there's a list of those zones. I won't go through them now, at the Thaiger.com in an article I just wrote this morning. So you can, but all the, like Chonburi, Hua Hin, Chiang Mai, Bangkok, Phuket, all the main locations are still listed as a blue zone or a yellow zone, and that's where the bars will be able to reopen from June the 1st until midnight, officially. So there you go. Okay, so KJ said, yes, I rolled my eyes a little at the mention of AI. AI means different things to different people. If we're thinking that it's going to be just a completely automated computer software system, that's not the way that the Thais see it. Basically, they're going to get computers to help them. Maybe they might make some spreadsheets. I don't know. That's what they usually call AI here in Thailand. Quite different from the way that most of the artificial intelligence companies see AI. Okay, question from David. Hello, David. If you have to take an ATK test on arrival, will they give you odds? Best 2 out of 3. ATK test not so accurate. Yeah, I'm with you, David. If I was unvaccinated or under-vaccinated and coming to Thailand, I'd be sort of wondering, what are the chances that this is going to come back positive? Now, I haven't actually disclosed this, but I may have mentioned it, I'm not sure, but I had COVID earlier this year. It was a pretty rough 2 weeks of my life, but I did continue on, although I was staying in Phuket at the time. You may remember an extended time I was staying in Phuket at the start of the year. I was turning up and doing my broadcasting every day. I was functional, but I was feeling pretty bad. Sleep in particular was very, very difficult. I was extremely short of breath. But there wasn't a chance in hell I was going to be going to hospital and ending up being forced to stay there until I could come up with a negative test. So, I mean, I coped with it on my own. But what was I getting to with all that? I just didn't want to take the risk of ending up in the Thai COVID hospital system. That was my choice. Of course, if I got incapable of breathing or was particularly sick, I would have used my private health insurance, which I have. But it didn't come to that, luckily. So that's an interesting one. Yeah, if you're coming in under-vaccinated or unvaccinated and you're going to run even if you've got a PCR test in the 72 hours before you come, which is currently the rule for unvaccinated people, for the rest of this month anyway, you still have to take that ATK test from the start of June, whether you've got the PCR test or not. And I suppose there's a risk. And the risk isn't that you're going to go off to quarantine for 5 days, which is the current situation. The risk is that you're going to be taken to a Thai hospital and treated there at your cost. So that risk remains. Hi Tim, greetings from Medellin in Medellin in northern Cebu, Philippines. Hello Peter, thank you very much. Very nice part of the world there in the Philippines. Well, sounds nice, I don't know, I'm assuming you're in a nice spot. Okay, is it the same rules if you went to Thailand by a land border? Yes, if you come into Thailand across a land border at the moment, as a foreigner, you do have to apply for the Thailand Pass. So if you're thinking you could land in, I don't know, Vietnam and just walk across the border without a Thailand Pass, no, you need a Thailand Pass if you're going to come into Thailand across a land border or by sea or by air at the moment. Poor guy in the background trying to refinance his student loan to pay for his bar fine. No, no, he's a local guy who comes in every week. Oh, you are wicked, you people. You're naughty, naughty, naughty. Good morning, Tim, from beautiful Phuket. Hello, Carl. Yes, we had some big thunderstorm rolling across the east side of Phuket, basically at sunrise this morning. I get up around 5 o'clock each morning, and we had, some big rumbles and a bit of lightning. And the cats run inside and happy to get out of the rain. But it looks like the sun's going to come out today, which is just as well because I'm heading off to a water park this afternoon, and I'd like to think that we're going to get some decent sunshine. My poor white body is going to get some rays. Be great. Tassani says, so glad for Thailand economy. Get more better now, everywhere open. 2 months ago closed, now back for good and amazing. Yeah, look, Thailand is opening up. We've still got the Thailand Pass, but things are slowly getting better. I still think we've got a pretty rough time, not just in Thailand, but around the world for at least a couple of years, where a lot of things, the printing of money, just overstimulated the economy, are now going to come to pass, and all this has to be paid back, and we're going to see, well, we've already seen basically a slow-moving train wreck for the stock market. That's also happened to the cryptocurrencies. I think all this is going to drop a lot more, and inflation is going to continue to get a lot higher. But I know a lot of people don't want to hear all the doom and gloom, but I'm just being realistic. So it's not just Thailand that's going to have a rough time. But the more things open up, certainly the more opportunity for people to come back to Thailand. Good morning from Supanburi, from Anders. Hello, Anders. Thank you very much for saying hello to us. Sunny in Patong, I hope, says Vortex SFX. I can see a little bit of blue through the clouds this morning. It's quite a humid, reasonably coolish morning. Goodness gracious. Krishna, thank you very much for your very kind donation there. Good morning, Tim. We'll soon be in Thailand by the end of this month. Hope to see you, Jay and Natty, by the way. I got the Thailand Pass in a record 24 minutes. I think it's very well streamlined now. Look, certainly it's much better than it was in the early days, and we're getting a lot fewer people saying they're having problems with the Thailand Pass. But Krishna, thank you very much for your very kind donation. Sash said, heard some official say that the mask mandate is more a recommendation now since it wouldn't be enforced. Is that a thing? Look, people, I don't know why they call it a mask mandate, but it's basically a requirement that is given its power through the emergency decree. It's a guideline that we're required to wear masks. So saying that it is not enforceable, it certainly is enforceable under the emergency decree. So if you want to get clever with a police officer, if they ask you to put your mask on, I'm certain they'd be asking you politely. If you decided to exchange pleasantries over the matter, you're probably going to come off second best. So they can certainly enforce a fine on you if you're not wearing a mask in Thailand. And as I keep on saying to people, if you're in a situation and all the Thais around you are wearing a mask, just wear a bloody mask, because That's what's going to be expected of you, whether you think you should or not, whether you think it does any good or not. It's just a requirement in Thailand, and at the moment, it's probably not being strictly enforced. But if somebody asks you to do it, or you get a sideway glance from anybody, just put your mask on, because we're guests in this country, and the laws in our country have absolutely no operation here in Thailand. Thomas says Babe Ruth was playing right field for the New York Yankees the last time the US stock market lost money 8 weeks in a row. That was 1923. It's been a rout. The last 4 months, just watching the stocks. I mean, some huge companies, Apple and Tesla, Amazon, Walmart, some of those, Target. I think Target lost 25% in one day last week. But a lot of these companies have been losing 20, 30, 40, 50% in their value on the stock market over the last 4 months. Crypto has gone down, I think, at least 50% since its peak back in November. So if you're in that market, you've got balls of steel, because you're going to need it over the next few months, I think. But the inflation is going to eat away at all of us, and that's a bit sad. Let's just go to some of these other comments from our members. Krishna Swadikup to the whole team of Thaiger. Great job, everyone. Thank you, Krishna, for your kind words. Alain says, I feel naked without a mask. There is a situation where when you're heading outside, you go, I've got my keys, I've got my wallet, have I got my hat, I've got my... You do sort of feel a bit naked without walking out without your face mask at the moment. I keep on saying that it doesn't particularly bother me. I know it does really bother some people. And some people have continue to hang their political beliefs on the whole face mask issue. But here in Thailand, it is a requirement that you wear a face mask in public. And you can huff and puff as much as you like it, but it just happens to be the requirement here in this country. Shane O. Traveller. Question, Tim. Is it noticeable to the tourists that tourists have come back and other businesses returning? Well, this is an interesting one. I know that 4 or 5 weeks ago during Songkran, it was palpably busier in Phuket. But yesterday, I did a quick video from the airport where it was just really, really quiet again. Very surprising. I'm at the airport every week, and I've sort of got my meter, is it busy or quiet? And 4 weeks ago, I was up like this, and then yesterday, it was like down like that. Having said that, the plane was full. But there appeared to be no extra flights coming. And yeah, I think we're sort of going to go through a bit of a flat spot. And it is the wet season in Thailand. And so I think at the end of this year, things will really start picking up. But between now and then, there's a whole lot of issues around the world that may impact on people's ability to travel or want to travel or be able to travel to Thailand. So let's just see how it goes. Yes, there is a generally better tone and enthusiasm. It seems to be everybody's a little bit happier. There are more people arriving in some of the tourist locations, but the domestic travellers have certainly dried up. So these businesses in the tourist locations are now really relying on international travel picking up. The TAT are very bullish about the whole thing, but I'm thinking it's going to be slow and steady, but the numbers I think will slowly increase. But I think it's going to be slow. I hope I'm wrong. Okay, that's my feeling about it, Shano Traveller. So what else have we got? Just scrolling back a little bit. Okay, Albert. No, Tim, no balls of steel, balls of gold or diamond. Yeah, it's going to be a rough time in the markets. So those people investing and wanting to live off those investments are having a rough time at the moment. And I feel for you. You've had a lot of ups over the past 2 or 3 years. Now it's time to just go through a bit of a down cycle. Of course, it will come back. What goes up must come down. Newton's law of gravity, not this Newton, the other Newton. I like how people have to wear masks on planes. Yeah, I mean, if you are travelling on an aeroplane, you are certainly required to wear a mask at the airport and inside the plane, and there's absolutely no question on that one. And sometimes you sort of pull it down off your nose and they very quickly will say, please put your mask over your nose. So we are still required to wear masks on public transport here in Thailand, be it the BTS or a domestic flight. I like good morning, says Mandalik S. Rao. GRF store, the mask never bothered me, but I am anti-vax. Okay, thank you very much for telling us. Ran Mans, look up WEF on YouTube. So many world leaders are involved in the Great Reset. Yeah, okay. I mean, I know there's lots of YouTube videos about the WEF and the Great Reset. I don't believe that for a word, and I've read a lot about it, and a lot of what the WEF has been completely taken out of context and misconstrued. But of course, you are welcome to believe that if you choose. Lee Shepherd says, I don't wear a mask while riding my motorcycle. However, as soon as the helmet is removed, the mask goes on. Stevie J, oh no, monkeypox is real. I thought people were just joking. No, this monkeypox situation is actually real. I was watching Dr. John Campbell, who does a daily vlog from the UK, and he's had some hits and some misses over the past couple of years during COVID, but he is very well researched. He's not a doctor, but he's a clinical nurse, and he's been presenting very regularly. He talked about monkeypox, and his prediction is that it's not going to become an issue, but it is certainly spreading at the moment, although it's not nearly as transmissible as COVID-19. It's not a respiratory disease. It's in this sort of smallpox, cowpox family. It's called monkeypox. It's very uncomfortable for the people that get it for 2 or 3 weeks. You get sort of welts. With monkeypox, you get your lymph glands swollen. But the best way to avoid getting monkeypox, you won't want to hear this, is to wear a face mask. Although it's not a respiratory disease, it's usually spread by touching, by contact, and also if you're close enough to a person with monkeypox, you can get it from breathing in the same air. Okay, dog pox. Okay, good. Love what you say, Tim. Don't care a bit but I don't care a bit for what the other viewers think. Thank you, GD. Anders, I was on Khalsan Road on Tuesday. On Wednesday, it was completely dead. Had to look for a 7-Eleven that was open. The first time in my life I ever did that. Yeah, very interesting, actually. Seeing 7-Elevens and Family Marts closed is a really strange thing, because you think these businesses are sort of the go-to for everybody who needs a snack or a phone top-up or need to buy an ATK test or get a quick drink or a water. Seeing them closed is very strange, but in places of Pattaya, places here in Phuket and in Bangkok, you will see the occasional 7-Eleven still closed. As a barometer to how the business is going, you would think that the 7-Elevens will open up as soon as they think they're going to be able to keep the doors open. Dave Southard, a monkey mask? What's next? Don't worry too much about the monkeypox situation. We'll certainly keep you up to date with it, as will other media. A lot of people saying that, oh, well, there's nothing much to talk about COVID now. They're just fear-mongering with this new monkeypox. Well, I'm here to say I'm doing the opposite, saying that I don't believe that there is anything to worry about the monkeypox, but it's certainly just worthwhile watching and observing, because we've now seen what a pandemic, a virus with a fatality rate of between 1 and 1.5%, what it can do to the world economy. So there will be at some stage another virus. Now, whether it's going to be monkeypox, extremely unlikely, or another respiratory disease, probably more likely. Something is going to happen in the future, and I hope we handle it better than we've handled COVID-19 over the past 2 years. Some of the leading nations have done such a bad job handling it that it really makes me worry about the capacity of some of these larger governments and larger economies to handle a viral pandemic. But it's going to happen in the future, and I hope it's handled a whole lot better than it has been in the past. Need a body mask, says Alan. Well, let's just see. As I say, we've spoken very briefly about the monkeypox. If you want to have a look at what Dr. John Campbell has to say about it, he's fairly reasonable about the way he covers these things, and he'll give you some more information. At least he's a clinical nurse. I'm not. So I'd suggest that you read some better qualified people than me to talk about it if you're worried about it or would like to learn more about it. Blue Moon says, on our way to Big C, Tim, mask in hand, been wearing a face mask for 10 months since coming to Thailand, never had a problem with it, respect the hard-working Thais. Yeah, I mean, the main reason that we're wearing a mask is not for you, it's really for the sake of our hosts, the Thai people, who are all required to, and pretty much, except if they're down in some of the entertainment areas and the foreigners aren't wearing the masks, the Thais will pretty much 100% wear a mask. And you should too. Mackie says, Vax works so good that you need a new one every 3 months. Doesn't sound like it works to me. I'm not really going to go into that. Again, there are much more qualified people who can talk about the COVID vaccinations. The vaccinations were never meant to stop the spread of COVID-19, but it was to stop the recipient from getting sick or showing symptoms or going to hospital or dying. And the vaccinations have proved very effective at doing that. Okay, what else have we got here? Always good content. Tassani, doing our best. Ran, Mance, I agree. Tim in Canada, the moron PM is handling it like the true idiot. Okay, thank you very much. Not really interested in sort of political commentary on our system. I know a lot of people got very strong comments about the politics in their various countries. If you want to talk about the politics here in Thailand, at least I'm qualified to comment on that. But if you want to make a rant about politics in your own country, you're really just showboating and grandstanding. I'm not really going to make any comments about those things because I'm not in those countries and it's not something that is either even slightly interesting to me or something that belongs on this particular forum. Democratic governments definitely had problems enforcing masks compared to authoritarian governments or countries with a culture that respects others. Bill H. Well, there's something to be said about that. I mean, here in Thailand, when they said, okay, everybody, you've got to put a mask on, everybody put a mask on. There was no pushback at all, including the foreigners. We went, okay, we've got to put a mask on. But interesting, in some countries, it's where they believe they have the civil liberties to reject what their governments tell them to do, and so they make it a political debate. That's what's happened. Stevie J. The problem is the bonehead politicians said the vax was going to stop the spread. Okay, so the politicians misspoke, and the politicians aren't clinical health providers. So, yeah, read good information, be informed, make good decisions. Oh, God, okay, GRF store, I hear what you're saying, but this isn't the place for those conversations, okay? If you want to talk about the Great Reset, go on to vlogs and things that are talking about that, because that's not interesting to us. It's not something that's even relevant to Thailand. And if you want to talk about that, I'm not going to make any further comments about it, and it's not really a place here. Let's talk about the Thailand Pass. Let's talk about the elections. Let's talk about the alcohol ban. Let's talk about great beaches. Let's talk about things that are affecting you as a person living in Thailand or people that want to come here. Chris Bucko says 60% of hotels are closed, so how can 40% of bookings over the last holiday be such a big help to the economy? Very, very good comment. The numbers that were sprouted after Songkran, that 80% of the hotels are booked and everything's going back to normal. Yeah, but did forget about the fact that most of those hotels were closed. And that's the way that it still is. There's still a lot of hotels and accommodation closed around Thailand. But for those people coming here, there are many, many hotels open, plenty of choice, and the prices are very good at the moment. So don't think that you're going to be paying a premium because there's fewer choices at the moment. There's really good deals to be had if you want to come back to Thailand at the moment. Tim, these trolls aren't going to Thailand anytime soon, probably. And there was another question. Reg Dunlop, hi Tim, where is Bill Barnett? Don't know, don't care. What else we got? Shano Traveller, I'm waiting for all the restrictions to ease and won't be back till 2023. Sad for me. Yeah, look, I mean, these restrictions are going to be around for another few months at least. Thailand's been very slow to lift up the shutters. So I think there is going to be a continuation of that situation, and we're just going to have to put up with it. And we'll do our very best to pass on good information to you, accurate information about what's going on, and decode a lot of the announcements that are being made. King Kong says open until 6 a.m, I think. I assume that King Kong is a bar or something. Let's talk about Tim getting into racquetball because it's in the aircon. 96 days till I go to Phuket. Mackie, you'll be very welcome when you get here. What, some 3 months away? Let's talk about water treatment. Seen some pretty nasty things in Phi Phi and Caron. I would like tighter regulation, says Mr. Mike. Yeah, interesting situation. We had the video during the week from Kamala, and this happens from time to time. What is actually flowing down some of these creeks, I don't know, but it's questions need to be asked. And the politicians come out and they say, no, it's not effluent, it's not coming from the businesses. Well, what is it? Why does it smell so bad? Be interested to see what they say. Ivan, thank you very much for a $10 donation. As we say, the donation's all going to the Bangkok Community Help Foundation. Tim, for your somtam or cat kibble. The cats will be very thankful. Thank you for that, Ivan. Damo G, restrictions. Thai Pass, if we really want to come, we will. In saying that, CYS in September, Thailand. Don't know what CYS is. Reg Dunlop, Tim, are you happy how yesterday's GM Thailand Today show went? I don't know, am I? Yesterday was a funny thing. We didn't have air conditioning in the new office upstairs, so we came downstairs to the people in the office there, and in sitting in the tea room basically. I didn't look back at the show, so I don't know how it went. I hope it went okay. I won't be appearing live on Good Morning Thailand anymore, but I'll be doing daily editorials on the program, and so that's a slightly different arrangement from next week. We always just keep on evolving the program. Tim, you obviously did really well in hiring Jay and Natty, says PJ Santa. They are obviously super talented, energetic young people. Can you comment on what made your decision to hire each of them? They're both great people, Jay and Natty. Jay was hired originally just to be an editor, but we gave him a chance on the microphone and he blossomed, and he just gets better and better, and he's a great guy as well. And Natty, she's comes from some really good experience, formerly with Radio Thailand, and she's also grown into the role. And the more we give her, the more she shines. So two great people. We've also got Nan, and we might have some more people in the future as well. Dating Guru says, yesterday's show was great. I very rarely look back at the show, so I have to take you on your comments. Is it a Siamese cat? I would say that all cats here in Thailand are Siamese cats, whether they're the actual breed or not, but they're both pretty much street cats, Dusty and Dina, but I would say to people that they're Siamese cats, even though they clearly don't look anything like Siamese cats. They were born in Siam. Will you do a live stream from Koh Samui, asks Alan. So I will be very happy if I can get to Samui and do a live stream. I'm actually looking at sort of travelling around Thailand and doing some more live streams. Let's see what happens with that. There's quite a few things happening in the background. Not this background, but in the background of the Thaiger. So yeah, we might be doing some more live streams. I'd love to get around the country and to visit some of the places I haven't been, and to bring some of the local views, the local culture from different parts of the place. Tim, did you vote for Biden in the open election of 2020? I'm not a US citizen. I can't vote. So why would I be voting for anybody in the United States? What else have we got here? Mr. Mike, Tim, do not beat a dead horse, but the Thaiger should do a piece on water treatment in PP. During low tide, you can see going into the sea, killing the coral. Tim's already been replaced. This is a robot of him. Yes, I'm a robot. Yeah, look, I mean, PP, clearly since they sort of rebuilt it after the tsunami of 2004, it's pretty much overdeveloped. Koh Phi Phi Don, the main island, I'm not a great fan. There are still some really nice places in Koh Phi Phi Don, but the centre part of the town is clearly overdeveloped and they haven't put a proper sewerage system in there. So yeah, I'm a bit worried about the ecosystem there. I'd really like to probably do a more in detail show, but it's hard to get people to comment on it. If I have anybody from the national parks, I really don't know if they'd comment openly and honestly about the situation. But that's a good comment, a good interesting story if I can get over there and cover that. Tim, geography, not a strong point. Thailand does not have a border with Vietnam, so you won't be walking over the border. Billy Burry Baps, you're 100% right. You can't walk from Vietnam to Thailand. I apologise for getting that wrong. Thailand shares a border with Laos, Malaysia, Myanmar, Cambodia. 4 countries: Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar, and Malaysia, not Vietnam. Thank you for drawing my attention to that. Good afternoon, Tim, says Steve Mailer. How about a story on PP in the water treatment? I think I've already said I will do that if I can. Okay, so I'm a US citizen. I stopped voting since 2016. Last time I voted was for myself. How's inflation coming along in Thailand? From Leeds 84. Okay, so inflation, I'm starting to notice it creeping in. I think it's been a bit of a delayed reaction here in Thailand, partly because of some currency issues and partly because the government has had this cap on the diesel price. By capping the diesel price and keeping it at 30 and 32 baht per litre, it's kept a lot of the inflation spikes down on other things. Anything delivered by a diesel truck, that's pretty much anything, has been buffered by this diesel price cap. So they're looking at slowly lifting it up. They're saying the diesel price is actually about 42 to 42 baht a litre at the moment. The retail price should be that. So the government is subsidising this by some 10 baht a litre at the moment. And whilst they continue to do that, it will hide some of the inflation spikes. But I did some shopping last weekend. I mean, I do my shopping myself every weekend, and I have noticed some of the food stuff's starting to creep up, but not massively. But fuel, I put 91 unleaded petrol ethanol fuel into my car, and yeah, that's now up to around about 40 baht a litre. Sometimes it's been up to 42. I think I even got a 39 last weekend, but it's certainly a lot more. So it's costing me about 1,400 baht to fill up my tank, where it used to cost 1,000 baht. Same with my motorbike. Cost about 120 baht rather than 80 baht to fill up the tank on my motorbike. Please do a guide on how to take a bus ride in Bangkok. Oftentimes I landed in the wrong bus and in the wrong direction. From the airport into Bangkok, there's very structured buses, taxis, airport link, and other ways of getting back into the city. Once you're in Bangkok, taking the local buses is a bit of a turkey shoot. Taking the BTS and the MRT and taxis, even motorcycle taxis, is very reliable. I've never really taken the local buses in Bangkok. I don't actually understand the way they work or the system. There's plenty of them. Most of them, they're not air conditioned, they just have the windows open. But yeah, perhaps do some further reading. I'm not even slightly an expert in the buses in Bangkok, so I can't really help you with that. But getting from the airport, both Don Mueang and Bangkok, Suvarnabhumi Airport, there are many very convenient, very quick, effective ways of getting into the city. Alan Edge says inflation 9% in the UK, expected to rise up to 15%. Alan, let me suggest to you that the figure is already probably 15%. I understand that in the UK they don't include oil prices and a few other things in the way they calculate the inflation. So be assured the inflation is probably well up to 15% already. And much the same situation in other countries that delete certain items from the way they calculate their monthly inflation figures. Inflation is still here. It's here to stay for a while, and I don't think it's going away, and it just basically eats away at our wages, at our spending power. So it's putting all of us literally in the same boat. Few rough months ahead. Mackie, depends how you calculate inflation. What you include or don't include makes a huge difference, so nobody really knows. Thanks, Mackie, that's what I said. Yeah, I think you're right. AJF, so Tim, you're avoiding the question, are you no longer doing GMT? I will be not a live guest on a GMT anymore. I'm not avoiding the question. I said I'll be doing a daily editorial for GMT, which will be very much part of the program and hopefully get plenty of response. So I'll be doing a daily editorial program, pretty much because I'm spending my time between Bangkok and Phuket. Doing a live program when I'm not in the studio really doesn't work. Technically, we're finding it hard to make it work with the same sort of spontaneity. I'm not sitting there with the people, so it just doesn't work as well. Google Maps has bus route information. Thank you, Paul Henry. Yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of Google information about how to use Bangkok's red buses. I'm just not an expert of it and I don't use them myself. Larry, are you here on business or a retirement visa? Me? My goodness, I'm on a business visa and I have been for 9 years. I've had almost continuous business visas, the non-B visa and an accompanying work permit. You have to apply for them both separately. The B visa through the immigration office and the work permit through the Labour office, but I've had both for 9 years. PG Santa, sorry to hear that. Tim, your banter with Natty and Jay is usually pretty good. Yeah, look, Natty and Jay are great and they will do a fantastic job taking the program, and I'm sure they're going to get some new voices, some new faces to come and share the program from time to time. But look, I mean, we've all got to move on. We've all got to change with the times. And, you know, people don't want my old face on that program for half an hour every day. So I'll be on for 3 or 4 minutes instead. And hopefully I can bring some good, accurate, crunchy commentary with a daily editorial. Did everyone smash the like button, asks Dave Boston. Yeah, I mean, this is YouTube, so smash the like button. That would be appreciated if you can go down there and, yeah, click on that like button. It doesn't take you a moment, but it does actually help very much with the algorithm. How long have we been going? 58 minutes. I'm going to do 2 more minutes, then I'm heading off to another meeting. Tim makes fun noises when he glitches. Sorry, Stevie J, I'm an old man. You make more noises, especially when you get up. Ugh. You do anything, you just make more noises as you get older. Let's talk about Ayar in Bangkok. Parks and canals, they look cute, especially the little ones. I'm sorry, didn't understand. Is Jet coming back? Jet might have had a day off yesterday. I'm not 100% sure. I've got a funny feeling Natty was doing the Thailand news today. Jet was down in Bangkok. He's actually been very busy with all sorts of projects, but Jet basically is the host of the Thailand News Today program, and that's not changing in the near future. Jenny says, hi from Central Queensland, Australia. Love your show. Fun watching, easy to get information. We'll be in Thailand early October on a fact-finding mission for retiring there soon. Jenny, welcome. And I hope you can find lots of information on thetiger.com. Type in the word retire or retirement into the search at the top of the Thaiger page. I think you'll find lots and lots of information about retiring in Thailand. But yep, coming here, spending some time doing a fact-finding mission, 2 weeks here, 2 weeks there, 2 weeks there. That's the way to do it. Do your homework, and very best wishes to you, Jenny, and your family. What else we got? 2 more questions or comments. Jet coverage for property prices in Thailand was very informative. Yeah, Jet certainly loves doing specialist property information. He's very clever with that, and he's got some great contacts. So you can go to the Jet Gunther channel as well, and it's just full of information about the property market. So thank you, Jet, for that, and we're very proud to have him as part of our team. October, November, best time to come the best weather. Actually, I would say the best weather in Thailand is not October, November. I'd say the best weather is usually from December through to February. Unless you're in Samui, they've sort of got the late monsoon there. October, November, you might still be getting plenty of rain, depending on where you are in Thailand, from my knowledge. That's another thing you can go. You can type in the Thaiger and wet season, monsoons, and I've done a very extensive article about when the wet season is, how it occurs, why it occurs, and which parts of Thailand get the wet season and when it occurs in those particular areas. T None, None. Question, how much money do you need to live in Phuket? How long is a piece of string? I think I might do a program, a specialist program about the cost of living in Thailand. Like everywhere in Thailand, you can live in Phuket very cheaply or very expensively. When it comes to the upper level, Phuket can be among the highest costs in Thailand, especially along the west coast, excuse me, and especially places like Patong, Katakaron. But if you come over to the east coast, it can be very, very cheap to live. I live over on the east coast. I only paid 20,000 baht for a 5-bedroom house with a large block of land, and I'm very happy to eat a 50 baht pad Thai. If you're prepared to sort of live like the Thais and eat Thai food and stay in a more modest type house, which I have sort of done a bit of tarting up, and I've done a makeover in the kitchen, and I've made it a little bit more modern. If you're prepared to live in some of the not fancy areas, then you can live very modestly in Thailand. There's no question about it. If you're prepared to ride a motorbike, then going everywhere by taxi. Yeah, I mean, you can live very modestly, for sure. But I think it's a great idea. We'll do a specialist show one day about the cost of living in Thailand. And Crypto Kev, hello Crypto Kev, says hello from Chiang Mai. Came here for a 4-day trip and it's rained all day here every day. Well, yeah, it's the wet season, so you're going to have good days and bad days. But Crypto Kev, at least the rain is warm. And I hope you're enjoying your time there in Chiang Mai, despite a bit of moisture. Do a special on the length of a piece of string. Go to the string factory and find the standard manufacturing sizes. Thank you very much. Okay, so thank you very much for joining us over the past hour on our Thaiger Weekend update. I didn't even get to talking about wealthy foreigners coming to Thailand. Maybe Jay will do that tomorrow. Jay will be with you for the Thaiger Weekend update tomorrow. And of course, he and Natty will be, along with myself, doing an editorial back with Thailand. It's a Good Morning Thailand on Monday. As usual, it's been my utter pleasure to have you with me for the past hour. I really appreciate your questions, your comments, critical or not, and hopefully we've been able to impart a little bit of knowledge. I usually get most things right because I'm just immersed in the news cycle here on a 24-hour basis, and I'm sort of got quite a lot of knowledge about what's going on here in Thailand and all the updates, and we will keep you up to date with all the latest on the alcohol ban tomorrow, with the latest on the Thailand Pass, plenty of articles about all those at thetiger.com. But from me, from Dean and DeLuca, thank you very much for letting us use their free internet. It's been great. And if you are down at Andamanda this afternoon, Jay and I might see you there. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.